press that thing. We should be live. Hello, I think we're live. Hello, are we live? Is the sound okay? It's been a while. Hot today. It's hot. Did anyone see? It's hot. It's like 31 degrees. It's never 31 degrees in the UK. And it's September. Evening, Mick. All good. It's all good. It's all good up my end. Is it all good up your end? That's what I want to know. My end's fine, except for the heat. Did anyone see the sun? Oh, man. You know, the weekly shower. Yeah, I've done like 3 showers today. That means I don't need to shower for the next 3 weeks, right? That's how it works, I think. How are we doing, chat? Good to see you all. Sanguinary Guard first in the chat. Craig, Jarl, Dickie, Mick the Machine. A bunch of legends in here. Pleased to see you all. Hello. Son, you're hiding inside. That's probably the best thing to do, because I went for a walk by mistakes. Yes, Winter's more Dark Angels 10th edition battle reports, please. Haven't got any lined up at this moment, but watch this space. Evening, Heathage. Nice to see you, Heathage. Nice. Got some regulars in the chat as well. Yeah, so sounds okay then. The sound's okay. Are we okay? It's okay. My end looks good. Does your end look good? That's all I want to know. Do I need to be closer? Do I need to be further away? Is this okay? I don't really want to lean into the microphone all night long. Tyranids, talking about things that went horribly wrong, like the weather, which is just horrible. I went and watched The Equalizer 3 today. And The Equalizer 3, I'm spot on. Good, thank you, Dickie. The Equalizer, you know, it's not like a 10 out of 10 films, The Equalizers. They're a good 7, 8 out of 10, whatever. They're good movies. Denzel Washington crushing it as ever. I like the John Wick, Extraction, Equalizer type things. And I went in on my own. She doesn't like those sorts of things. And said, I'd like to get to see my Equalizer, please. And my plate of nachos. And he said, it's in the 4K thingy bob cinema. I went, yeah, sure. 4K is a bit weird. Normally superhero movies, I'll go and sit in that one. I went and sat down. And there's like barriers and ropes on either side. And I sat in the seat. And on the seat it said water on or water off. I'm like, what's this all about? And then the movie started and the seats started jumping around all over the place. It was one of these ones, and there was the mist and the car chases, and I went to watch an Equalizer movie and ended up sitting on a roller coaster. Now, I understand that if you're like 8 or something and you go to see a Miles Morales movie or Super Mario Brothers, getting strapped into one of those things and getting thrown around all over the place to watch a movie is probably a great idea. But when you're 50 and you're going to see an Equalizer and you thought, because it's paced, and you want the mood and you're getting like that, and but let's just say it didn't add to the experience. It did not add to the experience. It's a bit like listening to an audio book, and every now and then your mate coming up behind you and shaking the chair furiously when it comes to explosions and things. I don't know who thought it was a good idea to attach roller coasters to movie seats, but 0 out of 10 for that one. Would not recommend. It kind of loses the immersion a little bit, you know. It's fully dark in Sheffield. Right, yeah, and then the mist and things. So that happened to me today. No, I would recommend Equalizer 3. Wouldn't recommend doing it in one of those roller coaster seats things. So Yorkshire's representing, Sheffield's representing, Nurgle's representing. The sun is just, why can't it get back to rain and drizzle and pain one more time, as we're used to in this country? There's lots of pain. What was that? Anyway, I got the Tyranid book. Evening, Heretic Dave. We've got this, so if you'd like to talk through some Tyranids, we can talk through some Tyranids. How about those bugs? How about that ride in? We can talk through some of that. There was some Space Marine reveals as well, so we can talk about that. And isn't there a data slate thing? Wasn't there a data slate change upgrade thing Is there a balanced data slate today? Did I miss it? Should I be checking on my phone right now? Let me know if there was a balanced data slate update today, or is it later on? What does everyone think of Bivors being 30 a pop when the Guardfield ordinance was 30 for 2 just a few months back? Well, you know, it's Tyranids. It's the new thing. So they've got to charge half a kidney and 2 left eyeballs. Not the right eyeballs, just the left eyeballs, while it's the hot thing. I don't know. It's Games Workshop, isn't it? Tomorrow. Data slates tomorrow. Okay. So we look forward to seeing the inevitable Eldar nerf. But the problem with the Eldar, right, isn't the points, is it? The problem with the Eldar is this is a dice rolling game. And they've got so many things to mitigate against dice rolling. You might as well just not roll dice when you're playing Eldar. I'll change that one to a 6. Or, you know, that one, I need an automatic card. I'll change that to a thing. Or I change that to a thing. Do you remember when Salamanders came out? I think it was 8th. And they had a reroll a hit and reroll a wound. And that was too strong. So they just put it down to reroll a hit. Well, Eldar have got reroll a hit and reroll a wound on everything all the time. And the fate things going on. It's just crazy. Yeah, tomorrow, maybe the first time I feel bad for Eldar players. Don't feel bad for Eldar players. They made their choice. They have to stick with it. Picked a dying race that's getting wiped out. It should be wiped out. Fate dice being able to unmodified rolls triggering devastating. Yeah, that's the thing. It wouldn't be so bad if Eldar didn't have a whole chocolate box of devastating wounds at their disposal. I mean, you look into other codexes, I don't know, off the top of my head, Death Guard, or maybe that's a bad one because they were so far down, but even Space Marines, or something like, I don't know, Brain, another codex. All codexes have access to a bit of devastating wounds here, there, and everywhere, but Eldar have it with the Wraith Knights, they have it with the thing, they have it with the other thing, they have it with the people who make the pizza, they have it with the plumbers, they have it on the support batteries, they have devastating wounds everywhere. So where you can spike, go away YouTube, stop doing this to me. When you can spike dice rolls, that's one thing, but when you can spike dice rolls and make them devastating, that's a whole other bag. That takes them from like this level to a whole other level. If they got rid of, say tournaments turned around tomorrow, LVO, blah, 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 said that on their tournament FAQ for Eldar, remove all instances of devastating wounds from any of the data sheets. If they brought that out, then I think Eldar would be about there. Thank you, Mink the Machine, for your 5 gifted memberships. I think a pussy's pressing at the door. My pussy did press at the door, but then I just saw his bum go down the stairs. So he probably went, boom, the door was closed. How dare you? And has gone down the stairs. Appreciate the gifted memberships, everyone. Warm round of applause for Mick the Machine. If you did get a gifted membership from Mick the Machine, make sure you thank him for it. It's tier 2 membership, so that gives you access to the Discord. And jump in the Discord and say hi. If you would like an extra battle report every Winter's Wednesday, then you need to become a tier 3 channel member. And I can't find a way on YouTube to make the gifted memberships tier 3. I think it does its thing. There was a new YouTube update today about adverts and things. But I just delete that shit. So there's going to be... so hopefully they make some changes in the future to do that. Anyway, where were we? Eldar. That's the problem. Fate dice being able to trigger devastating wounds is the problem, right? Heretic Dave, you're a tournament player. You've seen it at the front end. You've seen it at the coal pit. You've been there, digging away, destroying your opponents, chipping with your pickaxe, bringing home the win, bringing home the coal. And Eldar at the top end at tournament scene is a bit bonkers right now. There's a difference I've found between your average lists that most people bring in their local meta or around their friend's house or something like that, and tournament lists. Previously in other editions, when you looked at some of the tournament lists, some of them were, wow, okay, that's interesting. But some of them were kind of what we expected to see. The top end lists are like, yeah, okay, I get that. Oh, they've spanned 3 of them and 3 of them. And They got these little things in there to score. But now when I'm looking at some of the tournament lists, I'm like, wow, they're broken. That is not the kind of list that I would have expected to see. There's a big gap now between the competitive lists and what most people are bringing, which is, 10th edition. I guess it's going to flatten out after the data slate thing comes out tomorrow and as we get further into the edition. You faced Eldar, Heretic Dave, with Deathwatch, lost by 5 points to GT winning Eldari. There you go, Heretic Dave's been on the channel. Check out Heretic Dave, 40k, YouTube channel. He's a lovely mushroom, but I wouldn't eat a whole one. I played against Tau last night. Had to feel bad for him. Yeah, Tau is... what did they do to Tau? I think I said it in a video once that there was an overall thought behind reducing strength, volume and AP of guns. Particularly all the twin link stuff, losing shots and becoming those shots, but twin link to that, and the reduction in AP on a lot of things, or the range of things. All guns have been pulled back a bit and vehicles up a bit, and that was one of the balance things that they clearly did for 10th edition, and they did it to Tau as well, and they shouldn't have, because Tau only have guns, and losing assault when a bunch of their weapons hurts. Plasma going down to 24 inches hurts. Plasma became assault as well. That hurts. The volume of their guns gone down. The overall AP, it hurts. Tower hurt. They shouldn't have touched them. RC8015. Hello, Germany. Nice to see you. Welcome to the chat. The weather here was scary today. The sun, it's just, apparently it's called Sol, and you can't land on it. You can't invade it. You can't land on it. You can't put a flag on it, but it just orbits the planet all the time, because of course we know that Terra is the center of the universe and all things revolve around here, because the Emperor of Mankind is amongst us and he walks with us right now. He was born 10,000 BC. So we know this is the center of the universe, and Copernicus was wrong and all that sort of crap. So yeah, there's a planet up there, comes out every now and then, normally about 2 days a year in England, but it's been out for 3. It's crazy. Played my Thousand Suns versus Demons yesterday, tabled him in 2 turns, felt bad. I don't know where Demons are right now. Are Demons kind of sucky right now? Thousand Suns are good if played right. You're absolutely right. Thousand Suns, they've got some tricks and things. They're tricky. You need higher education to play Thousand Suns. Those of us who've just got GCSEs and Cub Scout badges, things like that, we're not Thousand Sun players. But people like Stylus and people like Lex Luthor and people like Saruman, people who want global domination, they're Tau players. Sorry, not Tau players. They're Thousand Suns players. Tau players are those into anime. Never really got into anime. The meta is to take a Monster Mash list. Is it? What meta? It's not the meta I saw with... I saw there's loads of little... Like that Necron list, which had a destroyer and a destroyer and a destroyer in it. I stole that for an idea for a battle report, which will come out in a couple of weeks' time. Little throwaway units here or there for your investigate sites, behind enemy lines, deployed teleport homer, area denial, those sorts of things. Fast, responsive units that can get on and score you your secondaries. Yeah, hi Stranger Come Knocking. Hobbies, it's going really well. Winters should roast all the different faction players like that. I can. We can do the roast of all the faction players. I need a faction to roast though, because yeah, Suns are very good. They are good. They've got some shenanigans. Build lists that can score the cards. Then with everything else, make it killy, says Heretic Dave. And Heretic Dave 40k should know, because Heretic Dave 40k is a tactical genius. So yeah, you got to build around, like in 9th edition and 8th edition, you built your lists around the secondaries. Like, so, okay, my secondaries are, I don't know, bring it down and something else, or whatever it might be. I had 2 secondaries to do this and this, and you build your lists around that with a third one you might be able to get, and then primaries. And if you want to play competitive 10th edition, that's what you got to do. You got to build your list around getting those secondary cards, which means getting into all table quarters, which means getting to the corners, which means all the things and all the things. My Necron list, just one of each Catan, the king, and a few other characters. What's a Necron warrior? Yeah. I think, you see, if you do a Necron list with just each Catan, the king, and a few other characters, what you want to slot in there for secondaries, particularly if you're doing Leviathan deck, is a couple of units of Scarabs, maybe a unit of Bikes, maybe a unit of Wraiths, something fast to get to your table core, something fast to get behind enemy lines, something faster. I'm repeating myself. Main gripes with 40k right now are everyone leaning so hard on epic heroes. Okay. Enjoy the new app while you can, boys. Expect it to be under the paywall tomorrow. I didn't get the new app. I did write a list. I'm playing, it's not on this pad. I've got a pad and paper in front of me just in case anything triggers in the old brain pan that I need to remember and write down for later. In case you guys throw, like, oh, that's a genius idea. And like someone out there like a Sitham Nalio or Dicky or Jarl Axfist or Timothy Fowler throws a genius idea at me, I'll be like scribbling it down furiously here. But so far, chat, nothing. But I'm ready. I'm poised, ready to go like a bear trap. Anyway, yeah, no app for me. It involves pressing buttons and I'm not very good at that. I just, so doing a Horus Heresy game tomorrow with James from marchofwar.co.uk. So I wrote that on the pen and paper. New app is amazing. I wonder when my land speeder storms are back in the meta. When the new Space Marine Codex comes out, I feel like I need to, in the review, do a shot of all the models that I can no longer use on the table. I'm wondering how much it might be. Because the flyers will still be okay, I'm hoping. Pods will still be okay. Land Raiders are still okay. What other firstborn things are still okay? I mean, Sterngod got bigger, chonkier. Terminator's got chonkier, but Thunderfire's gone. Dreadnought's gone. There's so many things that be gone. So I'm wondering how many points of stuff will there be just laying on that table there, which is Legends. Is Legends now. What do I do with the 13th? What do I do with them? I've got the 13th second company. But I can't really edge highlight anymore because, old. All the edge highlight I'm doing in the Horus Heresy stuff is slap chop heresy. Slap chop. I can't really do the 13th like I used to be able to do the 13th. So what do I do with them? You made an Orc Mad Max style army, Eternal Crusader. It's a shame so much plastic was sold due to it. Okay. Ravenwing. Played the 4-player Hobbypocalypse scenario on Saturday. It was a hoot. Thanks for that. Oh, well done, Timothy. Yeah. 4-player. Yeah, the hobby, that one worked out quite well, didn't it? Going down, I hope you called it Winter's Wormhole. Which faction got off? And then the other thing I like about that one was you don't roll until the end of the game. And, so you don't know who's won or lost till the end of the game. The idea behind... See, when we film that, it's like herding cats. There's 4 people and me next door in a room which gets nuclear under the lights in the summer. Hobbypocalypse always ends in the summer. So we're in there dying. So the idea behind it was to try and encourage them to get their models off the board to speed up the game. And it didn't work. I think I got the video down to like 2 hours and 50 minutes, but I had 4 hours of footage. And editing that down into something that the YouTube algorithm wouldn't go, no, all those horrible swear words, and 2, something that actually flowed that you guys kind of liked. It was a nightmare. Please send help. Speaking of multiplayer games, looking forward to our Slanesh 3-way next month winters. Oh yeah, I'm going down to Cornwall on the 15th to see you. Hopefully the sun will disappear by then. This planet will we need to exterminatus the sun. It's too much, isn't it? Just get rid of it. I love that Hobbypocalypse video you done. So much fun. It was fun. It was fun hanging out in the room with the boys. Love hanging out in the room with the boys, except rap. And yeah, Monkey and Stylus bantering with each other. That's fun too. Letting them just lose them, it's all good fun except rap. And but editing it is a nightmare. Dark Angels 1. You played orcs and got teamed up on since I had more units than all the other armies combined. Nice. Yeah, that Hobby Apocalypse scenario worked out quite well in the end. I think that was the best one of the 3 that we've done. You kind of feel like bombing the surface of the sun is going to make it hotter. Maybe not. Maybe if we really bombed the surface of the sun, like if we took off and nuked it from orbit, only way to be sure, maybe then get rid of it. Because honestly, I don't know how you're supposed to be able to go out in there. My cat has just spent like basically dead. Virtually every now and then you poke him just to see if he's still moving or something. He's wearing this fur coat. I was thinking about maybe shaving him, but I like skin, so we won't shave him. I'm sure it was... Hi Monkey, talk about the Hobby Apocalypse boys. I'm sure editing was a pleasure in itself, listening to us all over again. Yeah, removing all the swear words was or most of them. I think I caught most of them. Question for the T-Sons. Does Doombolt count as a ranged attack? I think it's in their psychic. If it's one of their weapons, then like psychic. If it's in the weapon bit, you got the card and you got the weapon bits here with all the close combat weapons. And if it's in that bit, then it does. If it's in the rule bit down the side, then it doesn't. Then it's an additional. So Doombolt is an ability, says Heretic Day 40k. It's a ritual, isn't it? There you go. So it doesn't count as a psychic attack. It counts as a... The abilities down the side are not ranged attacks. They're special abilities that things can have. I recently saw a video which said plasma is 3 or 4 times hotter than the surface. Yeah, the surface of the sun, and the surface of the sun is one thing. And then you've got the surface of my face today in the sun, which was definitely hotter than the sun. It was like, no, we shouldn't be allowed. Yes, a ritual cabal thingy, you can target lone operatives. There we go. See? You can target lone operatives. So yeah, Tyranids are looking good. The book is all over the place, but it's good. I asked the internet for their opinion after I did that Tyranid review video, and the internet gave me all of their opinions, and which is great to hear. Great to hear all the feedback. Apparently, everyone on the internet has allowed their opinion but me, and I should never voice it again. Which I feel like they came to the wrong channel, because I was giving my opinion before it was even cool. I remember trashing the Advent Codex back in 8th edition, and I'd trash it again, god damn it, if it's still terrible. Yeah, I like the Codex as a whole. I just wish it was cleaner. There seems to be a lot of 9th edition tail over things, and it's like they deliberately tried to clean up everything. So, for example, that's the unending swarm. That's the strats. That's the enhancements. That's it does. You only need that page open or a binder down that page while you're flipping backwards and forwards to all the data slates or opening your app and thing. You only need the thing. So it's nice and cleaner. And a lot of the rules, most of the rules have been tidied up. But then there's still some of that. The thing about rules writers is they really like writing rules, right? There's still some of those leftover rules. Like, if you can do this, then that happens. And then if that happens, this or this happens. It's like, okay, I get that some people like his opinions again. I get that some people like this, and some people like the power level, and some people don't like the power level, and some people like this thing, and some people... I get that. But if they're making a rule where do this for this to happen, and then this happens, this or this happens, there's an easier way to write that, which is you have this rule which can do that or that. And if it's too powerful, then make it half of that. There's easier ways to bring about the same result that they want in the codex. And sometimes when Todd is writing it from accountants, when they bring, because, you know, the rules writers, they're busy. They've got all the rules to write for all the things all the time. More Warhammer, more often. It's coming. So much is coming all the time, except for Legio Imperialis, for example, for some reason. When all the rules are coming all the time, Todd from accountants turns up, and he's an accountant. He's like, right, let's do this, and let's have the A thing, and he really writes the rules. They should basically not let Todd write any of the rules anymore. I mean, god damn it, Todd. Being able to have ways to target lone operatives is very useful. Yes, it is. Oh, Nid question. Have you tried putting zoanthropes in reserves? Bring them on and then nuke something, as they only have 24-inch range. No. Looking forward to picking up my new Nids this weekend, mostly for the Norn Emissary. Yeah, the Norn Emissary works, and at 285 points, I think it's about the right money at the moment with the thing. I think two of them is a really good, solid, chunky. What was that noise? Two of them on the wing objectives, sitting there, OC 15, feel no pains. 5 up, feel no pain. 4 up, feel no pain of mortal wounds. I think two of them is a really strong way to go, I think. And it's nice to have big bugs. So I hated 9th and haven't played any of 10th yet. Is it just me? Or is there little enthusiasm for it? Is it just a balance thing or a mechanics thing? What you'll find, the Gothic Realms, is this happens every time the edition changes. We lose people. We lose so many people. And so many more come in. And you'll get people in the chat who'll go, well, I really wish they had templates back, or I really wish they had armor facings back, or really, there's things in the game that I wish they had in it, and things in the game that I wish they didn't have in it, but it keeps changing, and it keeps changing. Some people I know, I was in a chatting away to a person in the DMs a couple of days ago, and their group still plays 7th edition 40k, and that's what they do, and they stayed there. So if you don't like the edition, you can play a previous edition. It's your toys, your 40k, do what you want with it. Me, I'm used to it changing now. So I just play whatever we've got, whatever they put in front of you. Sometimes it's a feast, sometimes it's a Sunday roast, sometimes it's just a hot dog, and sometimes they put little shavings of sawdust in it, and you're like, what's the sawdust doing in my hot dog? Sometimes that happens as well. Normally it's in the condiments around the edges, not just the hot dog. It depends what you add in there. So I just play whatever edition's in front because I like playing with my toy soldiers. I like 10th. It's a balance thing in my opinion. Hope they can get it under control. They will. They'll get 10th edition under control, and then the 11th edition will come along. You just have to suck it up and roll some dice. He can play the edition he wants to play, and if he doesn't want to play it, he doesn't have to suck up anything. Yes, that's what I mean. Is it the usual outrage, or is there something more substantial to it? It's the usual outrage, but there is one thing that's a bit more substantial. There's two things. One, the High Lords of Terror just pointed out. It's a bit more busted than usual. This 10th edition, because of the rule of 3 and because of the new point system, the imbalance is really off this time round. So it's more imbalanced than it was before. But that can be fun, as long as you talk to your opponent beforehand about what you bring in and who's bringing what. If you have a conversation beforehand, like, I'm bringing knights, you're like, oh God. So you've got to work around it. Or I'm bringing Eldar. It's like, okay, I'll bring the best of everything I have. Or I'm going to bring like a rounded 9th edition list with troops and HQs. Oh, great. Okay, we're going to have some fun today then. You need to have that conversation with your opponent beforehand. It's a bit more busted than usual. The other thing with the outrage, seeing as you mention it, the Gothic Realms, is the Legends thing. They have vaulted models before. A couple of models here and a couple of models there just end up in the GW bin, and we never see them again, and they never update the rules for. But this time, they're doing it to Space Marines. And this time they're doing it to lots of Space Marines. And so if you're sat at home thinking, well, I got my Space Marine army that I worked on back in 3rd and 4th edition. I had really good fun there. And now I've got some money and I've got a job and I'm all settled down and it's all good. Maybe I'll get back into the hobby. Let's take a look at where the hobby is now. Get your miniatures out and go online and check a few things and realize that none of your miniatures count for shit unless you only play Legends options with your friends. But the 40k that you're going to see online and the 40k that you're going to see on the Games Workshop website and the 40k that you're going to see with Space Marines on Warhammer Minus and all those things isn't going to look like the 40k Space Marines that you knew. So there's a number of Space Marine players who would be getting back into it. See, let's face it, 8th edition, the great surge of 8th edition was loads of people getting back into the hobby. And half of the players are Space Marine players, or half of the players have Space Marine armies. They're not coming back now. And then the half of the players who have got Space Marine armies but haven't spent that much on Primaris stuff yet are looking at it going, they're not the boss of me. They can't tell me what to do. And they're setting fire to their miniatures and turning their back on the hobby. So you've got the pushback against Firstborn being legended, and you're getting at the other end of the scale. So that's the collection, the hobby-esque, the casual side of the things. And then that's one end of the scale. And then at the other end of the scale, you've got people who like competing by playing with toy soldiers. They're pretty upset as well, unless they play Eldar, and then they're really happy. I love you too, Nate. Thanks for dropping in, and Crownless King, thanks for dropping in. Yeah, give them to me and I'll throw them in the bin for you. Monkey, you're not going to get the 13th. I just don't know what to do with them. I will play them through this edition, like a bit of Firstborn, Marines, using the Legends data slates. But what then? What about 11th? What about 12th? Especially that old lead rubbish. There's not a lot of lead in the 13th. Most of it got recycled back in 4th and 5th. Because it's the second time for me that they changed the entire range. But last time in 4th and 5th, when they changed the entire range in 3rd and 4th, they didn't make all the old stuff redundant. This time, they're making the old stuff redundant. Oh, dear. Thanks. I was going to get the Horus Heresy box so I could dabble with both, but that Legends nonsense put me right off. Yeah, well, Gothic Realms, you should get the Horus Heresy box set because Horus Heresy is awesome. It's very, very good. Proxy them as new data sheets. I don't do proxies where I can avoid it. That's just a thing. It's a thing I have, along with scabies. I wish Games Workshop would just say intercessors were tactical marines. No. Games Workshop are in the business of selling you plastic crack. They give you a taste for free, right? And you have that plastic crack outside the school gates. And then next thing you know it, you're robbing your nan, taking her TV and her mobility scooter to pay for more plastic crack. So, yeah, that's why you got to get the new stuff, right? You'll take that expensive Forge World stuff instead. Then I'm thinking about repainting the Forge World stuff that I got, like pink or purple or black for the Horus Heresy. Look at this. I actually spray painted Corax, which means I think Friday I'm going to start banging on some colours on him. What a G. Hiya, Scabies, brother. Selling organs for plastic army men. Yep. Welcome to 40k. You could just play the 13th units as Primaris units, seeing the units are now the same pretty much. Yeah, they do say, hey, you could use your bikers as the outriders, you could do this, as that. I just don't like proxying. If I'm going to play with it, I'm going to play with it. I mean, like I'm up to 5, did I say on that? Here's my Forge World Horus Heresy collection. 5 videos, 5 armies for Heresy. And then there's rhinos and predators and blah, blah, blah that are available for 40k. And then there's the rhinos and predators and blah, blah, blah that are available for Horus Heresy. But they look a little bit different because different marks, different patterns. So I got them because they're different marks and different patterns. Because that's what they look like then. So they got to look like what they look like. Look, I even got... Yeah. Come here, bear. Like, that's for the Raven Guard, right? But I couldn't just have the Raven Guard Dreadnought going around. No. You can get, like, the body for the different Contemptors. If you don't want to spend a kidney on plastic crap, then have a kidney and a half just to change the body out to make it look Raven Guardy. And if you'd like to support me in my plastic crack habit, then like, share, subscribe. We're up to 27 likes, which is terrible. But if you'd like to subscribe, we'll click the like button and let the YouTube algorithm lords and tier 3 channel membership, become a tier 3 channel member and get an extra battle report every Winter's Wednesday. Oh dear. But proxying a bike as a bike isn't too much of a stretch. I know it's not too much of a stretch. I have a problem, okay? What are you, my nan? Winter's SEO, more Horus Heresy content. I love it. I have got 3 filmed on the thing. And I've got... See, I'm actually making more battle reports than I used to. Because it used to be like every other Sunday on YouTube. And every other Tuesday on... It used to be basically 1 a week from me. I'm putting out 2 a week now. Wednesday, Sundays, Wednesday, Sundays, Wednesday, Sundays. So I'm filming, that is, double the amount of battle reports that I ever did before. And I can see the heresy content going up a bit. Particularly as there's a lot of old school people out there that prefer heresy to... Plus, I love the heresy. I love playing 40k as well. I mean, heresy is awesome. It's a better game. It's a better war game than 10th edition. 10th edition is a strategy war game with stratagems and gotchas and things like that. But Horus Heresy, you can fire a bolt gun all you want at the front armor of a rhino, but you're not going to hurt it. And the fact that rhinos have front armors is awesome, as opposed to just the toughness, and you can fire bolt guns at them and kill them. So Heresy is more of a war game as a strategy game. And so it's a better war game. But I love playing 40k as well, because in that one there's elves that I can kill and orcs, and I can go wah and things like that. So it's, you know, I'll play both. Can you play Scrabble and Monopoly? Why, yes, you can. So yeah, I see me making more heresy content coming up. Definitely. Expand your Dark Angels, Unleash Line. You know, Heretic Dave, that's definitely a thing, right? I was thinking, like, when the Firstborn finally, this is going to be their long good night, isn't it? 10th edition. And then I've got the 13th Second Company. When I'm adding to my Space Marines for 40k, I could get Den of Imagination to paint them all and just add to the Dark Angels instead of the 13th. Boom. That's what I'm thinking. But I've got to get all the heresy stuff off them. I've got Abaddon turning up tomorrow, and my last Chaos Knight to make a 2,000 point Chaos Knight list. Need to do a video on Abaddon and just talk about him in heresy, because he is a beast. Not Abaddon. What am I talking about? Horus, the War Master. I've got him. Need to get that video. Need to get the Chaos Knights video done. Like why it isn't as bad as playing Imperial Knights. Doesn't make your opponents cry as much. Want to get that out and show off all the death. And then they've got my Death Guard. Then they got my... And then when they get that back, then I think it maybe add the Dark Angels instead, because then I don't have to paint them. We played a Horus Heresy campaign this weekend with about 30-ish of us in Cardiff. Got out my Solar Auxilia, tons of fun. Nice. I like, SN Battle Reports. I'm sure you guys know SN Battle Reports. Check out SN Battle Reports on YouTube. They do some great Horus Heresy content. They also do the No Retreat tournament thing. For their Horus Heresy tournament that they do at No Retreat, there isn't a winner. Someone doesn't win that tournament. What they do is they divide the room into the traitors and the loyalists. and then the traitors win or the loyalists win. And instead of a prize for first, second, third, there's a small prize for everyone who won the campaign. That's the way to do heresy tournaments, I think, because competitive heresy is an anathema to me. Did I misread shooting rules? A can of vehicle in Horus Heresy only fire one range weapons. You read it incorrectly. Vehicles in Heresy can fire all of their weapons. What happens is, in Heresy, it depends on how far you move. So if you stay still, you can fire all your weapons. If you move up to half of the movement, you can fire all of your weapons. If you move more than half, then you can only fire one weapon and snap fire with all the other weapons. There's exceptions to this for ordnance. If you're ordnance, it has different rules. If you're bombard, it has different rules. You have to check out those subtypes. What you have to do in Heresy, though, is you can't split fire. All your guns fire at the same thing. This unit fires at that unit. That's what happens. Again, there's exceptions to that, like Power of the Machine Spirit and sponsoring weaponries on the side. Power of the Machine Spirit, you can pick any target, and sponsoring weapons, if you can't pick the primary target, then they can point at a secondary. But no, it's definitely more than one gun. But is Abaddon Horus? No, Abaddon is not. It's Horus. Did I say Horus? It's Horus. Horus Ascended. Yes. Nobody likes Dark Angels, says Monkey. Well, I don't think even the Dark Angels like Dark Angels. Their worst enemy of all. We are Dark Angels. What's your worst enemy of all time? More Dark Angels. Yeah. Do you have a militia army for 30k? No, I don't like playing in hard mode. It's really hard. SN are streaming live now, are they? Well done, SN. That's basically what we had. Planetary map, which traitor and loyalist teams fought over. Only the individual winners were the best painted and most enjoyable opponent. Okay, cool, man. Nice. Horus Heresy in camp. So you played a Horus Heresy campaign in Cardiff with about 30 of you, and I wasn't invited. I mean, Rum Diaries. Let me know next time. So all weapons have to fire one target, like in 3rd edition, and 4th edition, and 5th edition, and 6th edition, and 7th edition. Yes. A unit shoots at another unit. That's how that goes down in Heresy. There are sub-rules that are, and they're rare. Power of the Machine Spirit is quite rare, and Sponsoring is quite rare. Lords of War can ignore it. There are some, but 90% of units fire. One unit fires at another unit. And another thing that happens as well is you can't just fire las cannons in and then charge in that unit. You can only fire pistol and assault weapons and then charge in. If you want to shoot and charge, pistol and assault, then charge. Heavy weapons, all the other types, you can't shoot and charge. You have to pick one or the other. Unless you have Relentless. And Terminators have Relentless and certain units have Relentless, which means they ignore that rule. They can move, fire, shoot, charge, do what they want. So it's very much built around the bones of 3rd edition. Just the bones, it's much more evolved, classy. Like a Swedish gentleman in a straw hat puffing on a pipe. Classy, you know? Militia difficulty. Yeah, militia is like hard. So it's conceivable to shoehorn the 5th edition Orc Codex into a Heresy game. Yes. Cian Nelio played 3rd but skipped 4th. Yeah, okay. So there's been, I used to say there's been 3 editions of Warhammer 40k, but there's 4 editions of Warhammer 40k. There's 1st edition and Rogue Trader, which was 1st edition and 2nd edition basically are the same game system with tweaks. 3rd edition to 7th is the same game system but with tweaks. They added run in 5th edition. Flyers came in 6th, Flyers and Super Heavies came in 6th edition, things like that. It's the same core rules. And then they changed it for 9th, 8th and 9th. 8th and 9th has different core rules in. And they sort of half changed it for 10th. Because 10th core rules is kind of 8th, but not. There are some changes to it, particularly in the assault phase. particularly with the removal of a psychic phase. Yeah, it's the core rules. It's an evolution of, but it's a little bit different. We recently played a Champion of Chaos campaign using the Rogue Trader rules, so we play to lose with the rules. Play loose with the rules. Play loose. Play loose. A moose. Loose about this hue. More than one channel play at the second edition rule set. It's really full of funny rules. Yeah, it is. I remember Harlequins 2d6 for the charge. They would charge 2d, and they would get an additional, the solitaire would get an additional number of attacks for every inch that he charged on top of the charge, and would kill anything he came in contact with if he charged more than 10, like 9-10 inches. I remember re-rollable saves on Terminators. Rogue Trader was a massive success, and Rogue Trader was half a role-playing game, half a war game. Like, will people like this? We're not entirely sure. Let's get it out there. People loved it. So, like, okay, people love this. Let's go second edition. Let's give them all the things. And second edition was basically, it's a war game, but it's built around those role-playing ideas that started Rogue Trader. So it's crazy complicated and hard to play, and there's some bonkers things that happen here, there, and everywhere, and vortex grenades and things. It's a lovely addition, but playing it with more than you couldn't. If you wanted to play a 2,000 point game of second edition, it's the weekend job. So and then it was even more successful. Like, yes, give us more. So they were like, okay, people, okay. People like this. We'll tidy it up. Third edition, here we go. Boom. Oh, and here are Tau and Necrons. And then people went mad. Absolutely mad. Hated it. I think the second to third backlash is about as big as the 9th to 10th backlash. That was some pretty huge changes. Good job we didn't have the internet back then, because OMG, the sky would be falling. There'd be just videos plastered on YouTube and in your Reddits all the time saying, my God, Games Workshop. It would have been crazy. Any units that 10th edition have you played that surprised you at the minute? The Northern Emissary was good. That was a nice unit. That surprised me. I enjoyed that one. Chosen with like a sorcerer and the dude in it. So they're like a -1 to hit, and with the sorcerer in it. Sorcerer makes a -1 to hit. And then they're naturally -1 to wound. I think it's the Master. Is it the X? I forget who it is. The Chosen with the thing. I went up against that a couple of times. Chosen are bonkers with the sorcerer in it. That was really good. The other thing that surprised me in 10th edition was just how killy the Eldar can be, even after the nerf. They're pretty darn killy. Yeah, there's some combinations that you can put together in this edition which surprise me. Very much surprised me. Gretchen. They have an OC of 2. And you leave them at the back and they just get you command points. They're surprising. They're thieving little gits, and if you don't keep your eye on them, they'll steal you a command point. So Gretchen for the win. Yeah. Hi Winters. When's the next 10,000 point Apocalypse game? I don't know. Certainly on another channel coming soon. Do you have any more free for all games planned for the next few months? No. Lichguard are bonkers. There you go. Bloodletters, led by a Bloodmaster. Heavy bolters that hit on 3s, reroll 1s, wound Marines on 2s with AP 2 and 2 damage. There you go. Do the different armor marks in the Horus Heresy have different rules? No. It used to have different rules. It used to have light, heavy, like Mark III used to be heavy. In Heresy 1.0, yes. In Heresy 2.0, no. It's just for show, all for bling. So you can load up what you want. So, for example, all my Raven Guard are Mark 6. All my Death Guard are Mark 3. all my Emperor's Children from Isfahan, they're all Mark IV. Yeah, they found a way to sell Space Marines to people who have lots of Space Marines, and I'm down for it. I'm down. I've got another kidney. When playing against Eldar, you need to hope in their better humanity. Dear. Well, you know, if they had a better humanity, they wouldn't be playing Eldar, would they? So that's hope against hope. That's what that is. An Eldar player with a better humanity is given in to the dark side, let it consume them, and plays Dark Eldar. Yeah. What was your favourite moment in the Devastation of Baal? So, for anyone out there who wants to read the Devastation of Baal, don't read Dante first. Read Dante, then the Devastation of Baal. It'll make the Devastation of Baal better for you. It ups the stakes a little bit. I mean, Devastation of Baal, favourite moment. Dante versus the Swarm Lord. You know, that bit. No spoilers, but you know the bit at the end. It's really cool. Yeah. Are Terminator rules not different to Heresy? Are Terminator rules not different in Heresy 2.0? I don't know what you're talking about. There's two different types of Terminator plate in the Heresy 2.0, which does affect their rules. Cataphractii and Tartarus do have different rules, but I think the fella up above was talking about just normal rules, different armor marks. Terminators, yes, have different rules in Heresy. Dante, yeah. Dante, then Devastation of Baal, then Darkness in the Blood. There you go. That's what you need to read. Dante, then Devastation of Baal, then Darkness in the Blood. However, if you're looking for a 40k series, I wouldn't recommend Dante and Devastation of Baal first. I would recommend Gaunt's Ghosts, Eisenhorn, or Ravener, or the Night Lords trilogy, or Servant of the Throne, Omnibus trilogy, Servants of the Throne. I'd recommend them first. I think they're better. I'm not saying that Devastation of Baal isn't good. I'm saying that there's some really great work out there. Really great work. Eisenhorn, Ravener, Prior is just off the chain. Night Lords trilogy, off the chain. So if you're interested in getting into Black Library, and the other thing is, I'd recommend the Night Lords trilogy to Imperial players as much as Chaos players, because one of the biggest enemies for the Night Lords in the Night Lords trilogy is other Chaos Space Marines. So you get to see Chaos get beaten up a lot. Yeah, I'd recommend some other anthologies and things first before you did Devastation of Baal. Would you recommend Caphas Cain? The Caphas Cain books are... Caphas Cain is really good, but it can get a bit samey. I think we're on about book 7 now. And the one thing that Dan Abnett doesn't do in Gaunt's Ghost is that they don't feel samey. There's a couple of good ones. The one, I think it's book 4 or book 3, the Orcs one, where he crashes on the planet. And it's this, Caphas Cain crashes, there's a planet, obviously. Caphas Cain crashes on this planet and it's overrun by Orcs. And he knows that he has to get across the desert, over the hills, over the mountains, down to the sea, thousands and thousands of miles away, and then he can get off this orc-infested planet. It's the only way he will survive. And along the way, he becomes a goddamn hero. That one's really good. That's a standout book in the Caphas Cain series. Again, I would recommend Caphas Cain. I would say get the first anthology and smash that. But there'll be other books that I would recommend before Caphas Cain. Yeah, man. Night Lords trilogy is so good. I know, right? Been listening to Gaunt's Ghost on Audible and it hooks me. Now Traitor General. Traitor General is good, man. You're going to go to Geron. Yeah, Gaunt's Ghosts is... So, Gaunt's Ghosts. So, here's the thing about Gaunt's Ghosts. There are some people that go and don't like it. The reason why is because Gaunt's Ghost is one of those series that starts off quite slow. So, not slow. The worst books in the Horus Heresy series are the first 2 books. But Gaunt's Ghosts, book 3 is better. and then series 2 is better, and then series 3 is, it goes like a Survivor, and then Saint, and then da da da. The thing about Gaunt's Ghost is every series, single omnibus, I don't know how he does it. It's like reading the first 3 books of the Horus Heresy and going, wow, that finished on Isfan, that was amazing. And then you read the next 3 books and go, oh my God. And then the next, it gets better and better and better and better. What I'm saying is it's a bit of a slow burn at the start. Stick with it. It will reward you. Those who got to the end know what I'm talking about. River Ribble, thank you for your donation. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Good to see me on stream. Looking forward to March of Winters. Which Horus Heresy Legion would you recommend for a Dukari player? So you come to March of Winters, River Rebel. Make sure you come. March of Winters, anyone in the chat or anyone watching this afterwards who's coming to March of Winters, looking forward to seeing you there at Element Games on the 1st of October. It's going to be much fun, big wow. What Horus Heresy Legion would you recommend for a Dukari player? Well, it's easy to say Night Lords, isn't it? But when it comes to Horus Heresy, you got to read a couple of, you've got to go with a legion that you like, whatever legion that is, whatever legion pulls you in. If you love the lore to the Imperial Fists, the foundation of the Imperium, then you have to get them. If you love the lore behind the Night Lords, and they're just pure monstrosities that they commit, then you have to get them. If you love the lore from the first 3 books and you are just blown away by Sol Tarvitz and the Emperor's Children Loyalists, then you have to get them. If there isn't a lore moment, River Ribble, that drags you in, if it's not like, oh, well, I like 5 of them, I like 5 different ones, then another way to pick which Horus Heresy army you want is to think about how do you want to play with your Space Marines. So, because the thing that the Horus Heresy does through the Rites of War, through the game system, is allows you to build whatever Space Marine force you want to build. If you want to build a Space Marine force of just bikes and speeders, you can. If you want to build a Space Marine force of just tanks, you can. If you want to build a Space Marine force of just dreadnoughts, you can. If you want to build a highly elite force, you can. So it either depends on your lore choices or what way you want to play Space Marines, what would excite you the most. A lot of tanks, a lot of elites, a lot of heavies, a lot of hero. What would excite you the most? Horde, and then you pick one of them, and then there will be a faction for you. Gaunt's Ghost is making me want a themed guard. I know. There's a lore question there. I might get back to. I can't read any book involving Thousand Suns. You took a shot every time the author used the word etheric. You'd die of alcohol poisoning. Yes, I absolutely adore the 30k Ultramarines, but don't like the 40k Ultramarine lore. Am I weird? No, that's an interesting point, because you've got to remember that some of the legions in the Heresy era were vastly different from what they are in the 40k era, and the Ultramarines are one of them. They changed quite a bit, like the Imperial Fists changed quite a bit with the Crimson Fist and the Black Templars. They changed quite considerably, and then there's all the Chaos ones. I mean, obviously they changed quite a lot. Some of the Loyalist ones, there's a difference. There's a 10,000 years. I mean, I can't remember what I did 10 days ago, let alone 10,000 years ago. So, best part about Horus Heresy is how you can get specific with things like war gear and such. Yeah, exactly. What did you think of Kurz's Primarch novel? Okay, so this is another thing, the Primarch novels. Of the Primarch novels, there is a standout winner, and that is Kurz, the Night Haunter. That's the standout winner. It's outstanding. The 2 that come first, second, third placed in no particular order, apart from Kurz, is Alfarius and Valdor. Valdor's book is outstanding. Alfarius' book is outstanding, in my opinion, and Kurz's book is outstanding. A couple of the Primarch novels can be hit or miss, and a couple of them are misses, I'm afraid. Yeah. A lot of the legions are vastly different between 30k and 40k. Yes. The fact that Imperial Fists were wiped out. Yes. Well, the fact that the Imperial Fist wiped out, spoilers to only a single Marine in War of the Beast is still bizarre. Spoilers, because he died as well at the end, so the Imperial Fist were completely wiped out. It's not bizarre. There's a couple of lore things. There's a couple of occasions in the lore where entire chapters are completely wiped out and then refounded because of progenoid glands. So it's not the first time they've done it to a chapter, and it won't be the last. So long as they're so long as they've still got progenoid glands stored away somewhere, you can always make some new ones, right? Always make a few new. The Sanguinius novel was such a disappointment. I think it was. Yeah, I mean, does he do the Revenant? Yeah, that's one. I mean, I liked the bit with all the Revenant chapter in it, but it didn't grab me like some of the other ones done. I wasn't that impressed by the Lehman Russ's one. Dark Angels one was okay. Mortarian's one was okay. The Khans, the White Scars one. I'm sorry, Craig. What's his name? Craig Raitt, who does all the Scars books, and he wrote Warhawk in the Solar War, and Warhawk is one of the shining books of the Solar War series, and that's Chris Raitt. That's the guy. He's clearly the White Scars fan, and he wrote all the Scars books in the Horus Heresy, and he wrote the Khan's Primarch book. And it wasn't good. It's great if you love White Scars, because Chris Raitt is obviously such a massive White Scars nerd. Love him for that. And he goes deep into how the clans function and storm seers and marks on the armor and what does this mean and what does this mean. He does a full, like Dan Abnett in Prospero Burns. He does a full Dan Abnett on the White Scars. And I think he gets wrapped up a bit too much in the detail. It's like, again, online, there are White Scars players who love the White Scars Primarch novel like no other. Like it's the best Primarch novel out there. Probably because it's the Primarch novel that gives you the most detail about the Primarch ever and the Legion. So it's great if you're a White Scars fan. Not so great if you're, I'm a Space Marine fan. I'm not a White Scars fan. I'm an everything fan. So yeah, it was a bit, yeah. You're still waiting for Vulcan. Vulcan lives, mate. Vulcan lives. Salamanders are cool. You don't know what Swindon Elite Ops stands for. I'm about halfway through the Eisenhorn Omnibus. Thoroughly, it's smashing, isn't it? No Sanguinius meeting with a Revenant Legion was one of the... Oh, yeah, okay. See, that's the thing then. That's the Sanguinius' book. I'm drawing a blank to even remember what happened in it. After reading so many Horus Heresy books and hearing how every Perpetual spoke about the Emperor's ambition, I can see him allowing the Emperor to occur because he wanted godhood, and that was a necessary step. Oh, you're talking about Horus and the Emperor wanting godhood. Yeah, it's complicated. As soon as you start talking about the Emperor and what he really wanted, and the Primarchs and what they really were, and the Petuals and it's really easy to think about the Emperor as... See, we think with mortal minds. So he wanted this, and he made this happen for that to happen over there. It's clearly not the case when it comes to the Emperor and the Horus Heresy, as in The End and the Death, we're reminded again and again that he's been fighting this war for 30,000 years. And if we're reminded in the First Law of the Imperium that 4,900 years ago, that's when he decided to finally become the Emperor, when he needed to, when he met the Malcador for the first time. He was not... What's the line? The line was... I've always been the Sigillite, but he wasn't the Emperor until he met me. So the Emperor's plan isn't a plan. The Emperor's goal isn't a goal. The Emperor had many plans, many goals, many ambitions, many things he tried at. Some of them failed, some of them worked. It isn't just linear, and it isn't A to B, and it isn't even A to B to C to D to D. He's playing checkers while everyone else is playing chess. There's the religion thing is a fallback position. Clearly he wanted a non-religious secular empire, and he was very hush-hush about it, even around his kids, because if you believe in gods, then if you believe he's a god, then maybe there are other gods, and if there are gods, maybe there's hell, maybe there's heaven, maybe there's demons, maybe there's... By taking religion and religious thought and religious thinking away from the imperial mind space, the imperial, how people think, how people perceive, taking that out of the culture, making it like it is in large parts of the UK, for example, because large parts of the UK and many parts of the Western world are atheist. Just by turning it into that, robs the warp of a huge amount of power, because they get power from prayer. So it's clearly a goal. But there's plan B, C, D, E. There's a fallback position, which is if no one believes in anything, and there literally is a guy on a throne who appears as a god in any other name, if things fall apart, well, quite naturally people would start looking towards the emperor, particularly when the Lectitio Divinitatis, that one, the book that Lorgar wrote. I mean, come on, the emperor made a Primarch to believe, and that Primarch wrote the book. The Lectitio Divinitatis, you got to think about it. You know, like the Primarchs are like Einstein level genius, like Newton, like Shakespeare. They're like some of the best communicators, some of the best thinkers out there. If I sat down and had a conversation with like Einstein and he slowly took me through quantum mechanics, it would blow my mind, right? Or if you sat down and spoke to someone who's an absolute expert on, I don't know, Formula One, and you sat down and you wanted to know about the car and the thing, they would blow you away with a level of detail that they knew. And Lorgar is the king of communicators, the king of... he wrote a book that if you read it, it didn't matter if you were the most staunchest atheist of all time. If you read this book, you would come away believing that the emperor is a god, because it's like Einstein trying. It would be irrefutable to you. It's like, boom, that's the level of genius that he wrote into the book. And then after he did that book, he said, less of that sort of thing. So there's a fool, but he made a Primarch that could do that and no religion. And then he chastised him forward, and the book's a fallback position, just in case I get and I end up a bit like that. Then everyone will start praying to me, and then that'll give me power. And then and maybe the Horus Heresy is just a speck in a chapter in a 30,000 year war. And we're only seeing a tiny one chapter, which is the heresy. And the war is going after. This is this fallback position. And then 10,000 years later, with the psychic awakening, people wake up with the resurgence of religion and this and this and this and this. He comes back and leads us to a golden tomorrow. It clearly wasn't the goal at the start of the unification wars with Valdor and the Emperor. He's not sitting there thinking, okay, what I'm going to do is set up conditions across the galaxy so I get put in a pain engine for 10,000 years and suffer incredible agony for every second of every hour of every day for 10,000 years, because that sounds like a great way to turn me into a god. Therefore I become a god and I rise again. Star Child theory, everybody loves me. That clearly wasn't plan A or B or Z. It was one of the many it's not linear. I mean, I love Luton to death. Our Lord and Saviour, Luton09. Check him out on YouTube for great lore videos. But sometimes he winds me up a little bit. Because he does his Emperor of Mankind series. And I think we're up to like number 5 of the Emperor of Mankind. And it's great. It's fantastic. And I've listened to it multiple times. And I highly recommend that you listen to all of the Emperor of Mankind series. But sometimes he and Luton is the king of saying it's not just this one thing. It's also this thing over here. And have you thought about it this way? And it's not the law itself, the material that we draw from itself is unreliable. There's even narrators in the Horus Heresy narrating something over. There's a bit where Magnus says, I saw this in the throne room. And Vulcan says, well, I saw this in the throne room. And you will see it through it. And you're like, and you get both. You don't even know which one's right now. We've got unreliable narrators in there. So even Luton, who is the lord of showing you 17 different colours on this rich tapestry, sometimes even draws down on one of them and says, but this and this and this. And I don't think that's the case. I think when the better Horus Heresy authors, when the one, not just that, but they had a war room when they did the Horus Heresy. They sat down together and they spoke to each other and like, okay, we tie this bit together. When they've got down in the war room to do the main beats, like Imperium Secundus, like Isfahan 3, Isfahan 5, like Siege of Terror, like when they do the main beats, they've clearly, each author has spoken to others and made sure that, okay, what is the impression that we want to give? Where do we want that? It's clearly not meant to be just Shakespearean. It's clearly not meant to be and a beginning and a middle and an end with some side things. It's clearly meant to be the scope, just like everything in Horus Heresy is supposed to be much, much, much bigger than that. The war has been going on for 10,000 years. The gods thing and the religion thing is a small part of many of the parts and plans and a rich tapestry that Malcador and the Emperor and Valdor were trying to bring about. Clearly, there was an intention at the start to elevate the human race. And clearly there was an intention at the start to save the human race, because again, we get it right at the beginning and we get it right at the end in the Solar War. The war itself is no less than species survival. Any suitably advanced race becomes psychically aware and will get wiped out. Look at what happened to the Eldar. Any suitably advanced race will get wiped out. Look at the Necrons and the Catan. The Orcs get away with it because they're more like a forest fire. But there is a push. There is always So it's complicated. It's not and then But I do like talking about it because I think that was like half hour of ranting about it. Where are we? I love Luton too. Luton is amazing. Luton's videos are what got me into 40k. Yeah. Luton, our Lord and Saviour. I love it when he just does ones on like a chainsaw or a bolt gun. Brilliant. Justice for Rylanor. There's a book called Sons of the Emperor. The Ancient Awakes. Have you read that, Pierce Brosnan? The Ancient Awakes in Sons of the Emperor. It's not on Audible. You have to read it. Poggers. Rylanor. Anyway. Is there a way to get ourselves added to a list of people to play Winters at Heresy? No. There isn't like a list. What you can, if you really want to play me at Heresy, at the moment I'm mainly just playing other YouTubers that I might know, or friends, family, relations, people who pay me $1 million, or people in the Discord. Yeah. We'll give it a read. Thanks, Pierce Brosnan. You're gonna love it. What beer am I drinking? I'm not drinking beer. It is beer. It's ginger beer. Ginger beer. Summary. It's nice and summery. There was a sun today. I didn't know what to do other than have ginger beer. Conrad cannot turn back against his perceived fate because he believes himself unworthy of redemption. Yeah, which is why he had to die, right? That's the see, Conrad sees his fate, that he will die at the hands of... Here's the twisted bit of Conrad Kurz. Conrad Kurz, the Night Haunter, committed atrocities, absolute atrocities. And he said that he had to do it that way because he was bred and born to do it that way, which is true. And that he had no other choice because that's what he saw. He also had prescience. He could see the future, see the future, see the future. He also saw his own death. He's a Primarch. This is just an assassin. He knows when the assassin Emsheen is going to strike and kill him. If Conrad Kurz had stopped Emsheen, the assassin, and by the way, he knew he was coming, he knew where he was, and he could have done it easily, and he's a Primarch. If he could stop that assassin from killing him, that meant that Conrad Kurz's argument, which is I was bred this way and it had to go this way, there could have been no other way. This is the future I saw. This is the future that my father planned for me. What a horrible old man. I hate him so much. Wah! I hate him. I had to do it this way. If he could have stopped Emsheen, stopped that perceived future, that meant he could have stopped some of the other things that he saw that had to happen, that were inevitable, that were... So he had to let the assassin kill him. And he has this realization as the assassin kills him. And it just breaks him. Body, mind. It's a great story. It's a great story. So yeah, Rum Diaries, if you want to play, then you're going to have to become a channel member. Talk to me on the Discord, send me pictures of your armies. If I ever start to run out of people, and I'm booking November and December now, I'll let people know in the Discord, like, hey, it's beginning to dry up. But I find myself in a very privileged position where I don't ever have to say that. So, yeah. Thank you to everyone, like, where are we? Heretic Dave 40k. Thank you to people like him and people who are watching, who come around and play me, and Sultan, and Say Hi Paul, and Quipster, and March of War. Thank you to all of you for playing me. It's nice. Thanks. I don't have to leave the house to get games of 40k. I remember when it was hard to get games of 40k. You guys know how hard it is to get games of 40k, or Heresy, like Rum Diaries. Hard to get games of Horus Heresy. I remember when it was hard, but not anymore. Conrad cannot turn back against his perceived fate because he believes himself unworthy of redemption. Yeah, and if he can turn against his perceived fate, then he is unworthy of redemption because he could have stopped half of the nasty shit that he did. When Conrad realized he was wrong about having to follow his fate instead of fighting it like Sanguinius, it was too late. Sanguinius realized that Sanguinius, because the Emperor tells Sanguinius, stay here. Do not come. I'm going to go. And Sanguinius goes, no, I have to go and fight. And the Emperor's like, no, because you've seen your visions. You know what happens. And Sanguinius is like, yeah, but at least I know you're still alive. If I'm fighting Horus, then I'm fighting I'm fighting to save you. So right up if I don't do it, then maybe you die. And that's a nice little bit in Siege of Terror. I'll join your channel. I've watched you since your first Mechanicum Horus Heresy video all those years ago. Nice. Well, Rum Diaries, become a tier 3 channel member, because in the members only videos there's about a dozen Horus, I want to say at least 10 Horus Heresy videos there that you can sink your teeth into. Become a tier 3 channel member. Your channel inspired me to make a 40k army, Black Templars. Thank you. That's a good army. I like the Black Templars. Great lore. Sigismund is a G. Absolute G. Great to play in Heresy. Great to play in 40k. Good stuff. Right. I think I've been banging on for over an hour. So this is your 2-minute warning. American football starts next week. Get in. 2-minute warning. Or this weekend? Is it this weekend? It's the 11th. It starts on the 11th. Next weekend. So I'm looking forward to that. Any last questions, final thoughts, and then I'll start to wrap it up, because I'm just going for my 4th shower of the day, because I am dripping here. Hot. Do you think GW will ever expand on the Legion of the Damned to even acknowledge Ferrus Manus within its ranks? They have expanded on the Legion of the Damned over time. We didn't know much. We're starting to know more. They've actually got a book which you can read. So, yes, they have, and they will continue to, yes. How often did you go live? That's a tough one. I'll get back to you on that one. Stoked to catch a live stream. Thanks for de-streaming late in the day. Yes. Bring on the winter. This humidity. Yes. Any plans to start any more Horus Heresy armies after the new Mark III announcement? Yes. The Horus Raven Guard, as you saw, in about a month's time, I'll be up to about 4,000 points. Got to finish off the Custodes. That'll get them over 3,000 points. The Death Guard will be turning up from Den of Imagination Painting Studios. I've got over 4,000 points of that. And then it's going to be Iron Hands, because the Deradeo Dreadnought comes out in plastic, and Dreadnoughts equal Iron Hands in my mind. Well, Terminators and Dreadnoughts. That's very Iron Handy. Iron within, Iron without. Yes. So, yes. Rum Diaries, you actually joined the 13th at tier 3. You legend. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, so jump in the Discord. Say hi to everyone. And send me some pictures of your Horus Heresy forces. Yeah. There's a Horus Heresy thread in there. Spam the shit out of that. Catch up on the Horus Heresy videos that are there. And yeah. I'll come. We'll figure out a game at some point in the future. Anyway, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for following along. Thank you for all the comments and the new members and the new subscribers and the things. It's lovely. We've got over 60 likes in the end. Look, it's nearly as many. 61 likes. That's good. And thank you to all the people who are watching this after the live stream and comment in the comment section below. Just thank you, really, to watching my videos and liking, sharing, subscribing, becoming members and things like that. I appreciate you. Without you, the lights would not be on. I'm so lucky I get to do this full time. So thank you. Everyone, take care. Go and shower. Go and have a lovely cup of tea. It's so hot. And I will catch you at some point on the live stream. Oh, next battle report. Yeah, so there's one on Sunday. I don't know which one that is. There's much winter. No, there's no major announcements. So just in case I didn't do any announcements. No major announcements at this time. Stuart Fields just tuning in. Uh-oh. Bye, Stuart. Bye, everyone. And happy wargaming. No, I don't press that. See, it's not that. I've got to press this one. God damn it. It used to just be a click, and now it's more than a click. And I did it so professionally. It's like, thank you, and happy wargaming. And then, anyway, let's try that. Round 2. Bye.